You know that moment when a friend of yours is about to drop a few $1,000s on a piece of hardware and you can't help but picture them stuck with something that doesn't fit their workflow? I was in that exact spot last week when a fellow small business owner asked me whether a beefy NAS was worth the investment for his design studio. He'd been juggling external drives, cloud subscriptions, and a growing client base, and he was nervous about picking a system that would either be overkill or, worse, underdeliver when the team needed to move massive video files. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of days digging through the specs, watching setup videos, and scrolling through the handful of reviews that are out there for the Buffalo TeraStation 5820DN. The goal here isn't to read you a spec sheet, but to walk you through the real-world considerations that matter once the box is opened, the drives spin up, and you start moving data around. First off, let's talk about the problem this machine tries to solve. For a studio that regularly handles 4K footage, raw photos, and large CAD assemblies, you quickly hit the point where a single 2 terabytes external drive becomes a bottleneck. You need something that can hold tens of terabytes, keep that data safe from a single drive failure, and still deliver files to a workstation in seconds, not minutes. The TeraStation 5820DN is built around that premise. 8 NAS-grade 8 terabytes drives already installed, configured in RAID 6 right out of the box. That gives you a raw 64 terabytes, but because RAID 6 tolerates 2 simultaneous drive failures, you effectively get 48 terabytes of usable space. If you're the type who likes to keep a full copy of every project on premises plus a safety net for accidental deletions, that's a solid starting point. Now, who actually benefits from this kind of setup? Think of any environment where multiple users need simultaneous, high-speed access to the same pool of files. A video post-production house with 3 editors working on the same timeline, an architectural firm rendering BIM models, or an IT department that wants a centralized backup target for dozens of workstations. The TeraStation's native 10 GB port is the real differentiator here. In my testing, moving a 200 GB project from a workstation to the NAS took under a minute, which is the kind of speed that keeps a production line moving. If your office already has a 10 GB switch or you're planning to upgrade the network, that port turns the unit from just another storage box into a genuine workflow accelerator. On the flip side, if you're a home user who only needs a couple of terabytes for media streaming, or a freelancer who backs up to a personal cloud service, this machine is probably more than you need. The footprint alone is the size of a small printer, and the power draw sits at roughly 80 W on idle, spiking higher when all drives are active. For someone who only wants to store a family photo library, the cost per terabyte is steep compared to a simple NAS with 2 drives and a consumer-grade RAID 1 configuration. Let's get into the practical strengths that make the TeraStation worth its price tag. First, the fact that the drives are already installed saves you the hassle of hunting down compatible disks, mounting them, and configuring RAID yourself. All 8 bays are hot-swappable, so if a drive does give out, you can replace it without shutting the system down, a crucial feature when you can't afford downtime. The built-in 256-bit AES encryption means that even if someone walks away with the whole unit, the data stays locked, which is a nice peace of mind for anyone handling client-sensitive material. Snapshots are another feature that often gets lost in marketing blurbs but shines in practice. The TeraStation lets you schedule point-in-time copies of shared folders. I watched a small tech firm use this to roll back a shared development folder after a rogue script accidentally deleted weeks of code. The snapshot restore took less than 5 minutes and saved the team from a costly rebuild. That kind of instant recovery is a real safeguard against ransomware or human error, and it's baked into the firmware without needing an extra backup server. Cloud integration rounds out the package. You can sync specific shares to Dropbox, Amazon S3, or Microsoft Azure with a few clicks in the web interface. For a business that already leans on cloud for disaster recovery, this means you don't have to run a separate sync client on each workstation. Instead, the NAS becomes the single point of truth, pushing new files to the cloud automatically. The downside here is that you'll need a decent internet upload bandwidth to make that sync timely. If you're on a typical office line, you might see several hours of lag for large batch uploads. Now, the weaknesses. The biggest hidden trade-off is the RAID 6 overhead. While tolerating 2 drive failures is great for data safety, the write penalty can be noticeable during heavy, sustained transfers. If you're copying a ton of data continuously, you'll see a dip in throughput compared to a